Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha with Nature Niche. And this week I thought it might be fun to share some video I was able to take of a monarch caterpillar forming a chrysalis and talk a little bit about that step in the butterfly life cycle. So butterflies have 4 stages in their life cycle. They start out as eggs, and then they go through a series of different sizes of caterpillars, also known as larvae, and those, as it increases in size, keep shedding its skin. Those are called different larval instars. And then it will pupate and form a pupa, also known as a chrysalis. And then from that chrysalis, the adult butterfly will emerge. So I got some video. This is one of our medium-sized butterfly habitats. I carry 3 different sizes. They're great for observing butterflies. If you're able to find the eggs or the caterpillars out in your garden and you want to bring them in with some host plant material for rearing and protect them from potential predators, get them through this critical life stage. And I found this one as probably about a 5th instar monarch caterpillar in a ditch on our property on some common milkweed, and I brought it into the store to be able to talk to people about monarch butterfly. So let me show you that process of how a chrysalis forms. So monarch caterpillars take about 10 to 14 days to get to that 5th and final instar. And at that point, they'll stop eating and they tend to either crawl to the top of their container habitat if you've brought them inside, or they'll leave their host plant out in the wild. They tend to try to find a sturdy place that is sheltered from the wind and rain to form their chrysalis. So out in the wild, all sorts of locations may be suitable, as long as it offers good protection from the elements. So the underside of a large leaf, a tree branch, where it's easy to blend in. Sometimes they use man-made structures, and but they often always leave their host plant. So monarchs will leave the milkweed plants that they feed on as caterpillars and try to find that safe spot. And they can take several hours wandering around to try to find that perfect spot to form their chrysalis. So I noticed that this one was getting pretty anxious and left the milkweed that I had at the bottom of the habitat, stopped eating, and was crawling all over the habitat trying to find its favorite spot to go through this transformation. Once the caterpillar has chosen its place, it will spin a patch of silk to be the anchoring point for the chrysalis. And the caterpillars have a gland called a spinneret that's below their mouth parts. That produces the silk, so you'll see them moving their heads around, and they'll weave a mat of silk threads. And then they'll use clasping hooks on their rear end, and they'll back up and grab that silk patch and hang from that. So that's really important to have that tight grip. It has to withstand wind and rain out in nature. And it's important because if they fall, they might be injured or die or eaten by a predator. So once that good grip is established, monarchs will hang upside down, and they will form a J. So curl up their head, and they'll stay in that position for about 14 hours. And then they might straighten slightly, and when you see that, you want to be nearby because that means the pupation is about to start. So their bodies will straighten a little after being in that J for many hours, and their tentacles, also known as filaments, which are sensory organs, will twist. So this particular caterpillar was missing tentacles on the head end, but he or she, I'm not sure, did straighten out, and then you can see the exoskeleton, the outer skin just looks like it unzips, and you start seeing the green flesh of the pupa. And once this process starts, it's done in about 2 minutes. So I've definitely had others that I've reared at the store that, we walked away for 10 minutes, we came back, and the chrysalis was formed already. So I was really excited to be able to capture footage of this particular process. So there's a lot of wiggling that happens, and the old skin splits first at the head, working up towards the end and that attachment point, and it peels away. They might twitch quite a bit violently at the end just to shed the last of that skin. And that then usually falls away like a stretched out old sock. Entomologists understand that it's something called juvenile hormone that keeps the caterpillars in that caterpillar stage through each of the molts for the first through the fifth instars. Once that caterpillar is fully grown, however, production of this hormone stops, and the caterpillar goes through this final shed of skin to reveal the chrysalis. And it takes a while. I didn't want to bump, and it's a good idea not to unzip your butterfly habitat or tap the sides or anything during this process. And it takes some time for the chrysalis to dry and harden, and then it'll gain some protection from weather and small predators. And it goes from the dull green that you see here to this beautiful shade of jade green that blends in really well with surrounding vegetation. And the chrysalis of a monarch will have some black features and also some beautiful gold metallic features as well. So for monarchs, they stay in the chrysalis for about 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days. And the caterpillar essentially liquefies inside that chrysalis and is reorganized. And even with decades of research, it sounds like entomologists don't really understand all the details of how metamorphosis happens, but I'm sure glad it does. It's an amazing process, and I truly look forward to getting to see this adult butterfly emerge. The way it's situated, I can't tell if it's male or female. It's set up shop right at the front of the habitat, and I don't want to disturb it, but I will surely keep you posted. So I hope if you're able, come see us at the store. I'm happy to show you the chrysalis, and you can check in, see how it's doing. And if you want to learn more about monarch butterfly, check out Mondays with Martha number 8, 16, and 31. Have a good week.